Hi.
Ooh.
Before we start, I want to explain what we're doing. Um, so I brought both of you here to ask you a couple questions and hear your opinions and just overall just have a conversation
Yeah.
about a variety of topics. And I want to let you both know that you can say anything you want. You don't have to hold back what's on your mind. So what we're gonna do is first, both of you tell me your name, your pronouns, and a small bit about you.
I'm Jimmy, and my pronouns are he, him, and I am a 19-year-old average college student.
Yeah. My name is Melody. I go by she, her. I am a 21-year-old, just a 21-year-old who works in a warehouse, I guess.
So we're going to be talking about stereotypes, a small bit about minority groups. What is something about society that you believe is unfair?
That's a good one. Something about society that's unfair. Honestly, just the huge wealth disparity. Like, that's a big topic. Like, how people had billions and millions of dollars, but then there's people starving.
I guess one stereotype for me would be like just how society treats a lot of people that they might not know very well. Just judging a book by its cover.
Yeah, like yeah, I could see that. Like how people like see a homeless guy on the street and think that they're just like useless, not trying to get a job, or then most of them are sitting there trying to like their best to get jobs and really trying to better themselves, but they just can't.
Yeah.
Should minority groups have the support that they need?
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely, yeah.
Everyone should have equal access or access and opportunity to do whatever they want with their lives.
No one should be limited by like what group, like what kind of group they might fall under. It just doesn't make sense to categorize people like that and treat them like that. Everyone's a human being at the end of the day. It's not something that you can really change.
Yeah.
Has anything happened when it comes to like a society standpoint that's happened to you that was unfair?
Easiest one is probably like whenever I was trying to join sports when I was younger, because I was like a really small, scrawny kid. So sometimes it was like I would be able to join the sport sometimes, but then I would just not really do anything. Like they wouldn't let me play or just basically be a bench warmer. And everyone kind of just like would always joke around that I was small, and no one would ever believe that I was on the team and all that stuff. So I never really got to like enjoy that to the fullest.
For me, I feel like one thing that I believe would be like whenever I show like who I actually am, like a lot of things. People think that like I can't do things nearly as well as others, when in reality I am more than capable of doing it. It's just I'm treated as if I'm lesser, I guess.
Why do you think people treat you as lesser?
There's a lot of things that go into the answer of that, but I guess like the main point of it would be people know who I am, like what I'm able to do in the sense of other people. If I'm set in a room with like 10 other people given the same task, everyone else is going to be doing it faster. But I'm going to be able to do it. Sure, they'll be able to do it faster. They'll be able to do it more efficiently. They'll be able to do it in a normal pace. For me, that's hard for me to do, and I usually just try my best to like just hide it and like just brute force my way through, but sometimes that doesn't even work out anyway. So it just ends up like, even if I try hiding it, it's gonna show its face regardless.
What are some times that you were stereotyped as something just from your appearance? Even though Jimmy, you already said something.
Oh yeah, but yeah, because I wear a lot of like anime clothes and stuff, so a lot of people assume that I'm part of like the stereotypical anime community, like all the. I'm not gonna say, but like they expect me. I'm probably going out like cosplaying and all that stuff, but I'm not really that far. A lot of people just assume that, so then they like are like, I'm not really sure if I want to hang out with that guy because he's probably gonna be like really into it and doing all this like cosplay stuff. Where I just wear it because I enjoy the show, and then,
Yeah.
but like I just like chill, like I don't really do any of that stuff. So
For me, I think it would be by appearance. It would be like a lot of people would assume that like because I look male, it's like, oh, I'm gonna be grouped into the male tasks. When in reality, I don't want to do that. I want to be able to do like I enjoy a lot of male things, like, but there's a lot of things that they would do that I'm just like, no thanks, no. But then it's like, don't like, and then it's also like, well, if you don't want to do that, then do you want to do like this overly stereotypical feminine thing? I'm like, no thank you. Just put me in a middle group. Just find a compromise between the two, and then just like put me in there. I'd rather be more comfortable in that than like stereotypical one end or stereotypical the other end. I want to be that middle area. I want to be that gray area.
When it comes to stereotyping, it's so apparent in today's society that like there's not much you can't really do anything without being stereotyped.
Yeah.
like even wearing certain clothes or having a certain hairstyle could do that.
Exactly.
What are some times that you were stereotyped as something just from what you told someone?
Oh, so this is gonna. So I talk about like how I play VR and stuff, and then some people think I go to like the extreme where I'm in it all the time, and then like 24 hours a day, like I'll sleep in it and stuff. But that's not really true about me, at least. Like I only go on like once or twice a week. But yeah, some people think I take it like really far.
For me, it's mainly my sleep schedule, and also my habits when it comes to being on the computer, because I'm basically on my computer 24/7. And a lot of people, whenever I tell them like, oh, I'm a massive tech person, or like I'm a massive gamer, so they're like, oh, so you just stay up all night playing games until like 2 in the morning, and then go to bed at 3, and then you have to wake up at like 7 a.m. just so that you go to work on time. It's like, no, it's not the case. Not the case at all.
Do you think that there's any way to correctly stereotype someone and it always be right?
I don't really think so, because every person's different. Every person will do stuff differently. So I'm not sure if there is a way to stereotype people.
Yeah, there's no one way to just like efficiently stereotype someone. Sometimes people don't even want to be stereotyped. People just want to be known as themselves or as people, not as like this random group that you decided to come up with on the fly that like kind of describes them. Just kind of. When in reality, it's just not what they want to go for.
Do you think that we should either stop stereotyping people in general, or we should keep it?
I don't think there's any way to get rid of it. I think it's
No.
just like a subconscious thing that happens.
it's so ingrained in our society. There's no way we'll be able to remove it, even if we plan on it. There's always going to be a bunch of people in a small minority that's going to be like, no, we're keeping these and you cannot tell us otherwise. No matter how much you shove the facts in our throat, we're not going to listen. That's very, very apparent from these last 2 years. You can you like, everyone's already seen that some people are so stubborn to the point where they're going to stick with what they know, even if they're told a million times that it's wrong or it's not entirely correct. It's just not going to happen.
If you had a ideal society, what would it be?
I know this is going to sound like communism, but because communism is a perfect society if we had a perfect society. But everyone makes like the same amount of money. Everyone has the same exact opportunities to do whatever they want. And then like no one gets like they could there's no stereotypes, which is a big thing. Because like if anyone could just like walk up to you, like that's one big thing about VR too that's amazing. Is you can't really stereotype people in it. It's like because they can wear whatever they want.
Yeah.
So then you have to go up, talk to them, and have a really good conversation. And learn who they are as a person.
Yeah.
I think that would be an ideal society.
For me, my like in a fantasy realm, the ideal society to me would be no one judging people by the covers. Like, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't just assume. Like, learn about, like, get to know them a tiny bit, even if you're only going to meet them once. And like everyone has the same rights, the same everything. Everyone has the same situation. Everyone's just that kind of thing. Like everyone's equal. Everyone's like treated equal. It's just like to me that just seems like a better option than what we have right now.
Are gender stereotypes a good thing?
Not at all. Because then it forces a certain gender to do certain things, which I don't think it's like they should just be like have no like resistance in doing whatever they want.
Like little Timmy could do whatever he wants. He could like go crochet. He could go play with the other girls in his class, but he could also play sports. He could also fix cars. But it doesn't mean that he's like not a lesser boy. Like just because he does feminine things doesn't mean that he's like lesser of a male. Like I know a lot of people who identify as the gender they were born as, but like they enjoy the little things. They enjoy like crocheting. They enjoy like stereotypically girly things, but they'll still like go out and like work really hard, work in a really dingy work environment, like fixing up cars, being a plumber, being like a sewage person. I don't know what they're called, but like that kind of thing. Doesn't mean that their gender identity is lesser than what they identify as. Just because they enjoy doing other things that are quote unquote on the opposite spectrums, that doesn't mean that they're lesser than what they want to be identified as.
But in the future, if you were to have a child, would you explain these things to them and try and teach them about stereotypes?
Not right away, but maybe whenever they start reaching like their tweens or teens, like 12, 13, I'll start teaching them about like how this is how people might see you if you do these things, but whatever, like I'll support you with whatever you want. I'll always have your back and like all that stuff. So that way they know that they're able, like they can do whatever they want, but just let them know that other people will see them in this light. And
yeah, I would teach them as soon as they're able to understand it. I wouldn't go completely just like as soon as they're able to understand speech. It's like, okay, this massive topic you need to learn right away. It's like, no. They're not old enough to understand that yet. Unless they're that young and they ask me like what is gender, like however little kids ask that kind of question. Like as soon as they ask me that, I'm like, I would reassure them like whatever, like if they ever think of anything like that, then I would be completely open to talk about it. I'm completely open to like explain to them, like if they're ever confused about something.